Hello, IB physicists. Congratulations on finishing your Unit 3 test. Good work. Today, we're going to go over vector addition at its complete full form. And this is actually in your binder. It's called Step-by-Step Vector Addition, and it is page 3.3 in your binder. And we didn't actually need this in Unit 3, but we are going to need this here in Unit 4. And so today I'm going to go over one problem with you. But you'll notice that this worksheet actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 problems. And you might also notice that as we go down here in our problems, we get less and less guidance. So as you're doing these, I'm going to take away some of the guidance, but you can always look back at previous problems to get a little bit more of that guidance on what you're doing. So our goal here, and the whole goal of vectors, is being able to combine values together. And so what we have here are forces. I think actually all of these are forces. Oh, no, that's a velocity. That's a force, that's force. Anyways, so these are all vectors. And we've looked at vectors in a variety of ways. We've been looking at entirely one-dimensional motion. That means things going forwards and backwards, and that's it. But we're going to start looking at motion in 2 dimensions. So that means that we're going to need to use vectors to understand that. And we're going to need to be able to add multiple vectors together to be able to predict the motion or the change in motion of an object. And so that's the big idea behind being able to add vectors up. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my writing mode. And what we're going to do here is try to add vectors A and B. And I'm going to go ahead and start trying to do that with something you already know how to do. So the first thing that you already know how to do is that we want to find the x component for A, AX, and the y component for A. So if I'm going to break A apart into how far forwards in the x direction it goes and how far up in the y direction, I want to start there. And so for that, I'm going to use my old friend, SOHCAHTOA. Yeah, you know how to use that. And I'm going to start out by looking at, okay, I have this angle, theta. If I want to find side A, well, that's going to be adjacent. And so I know the hypotenuse. So I want the thing that has adjacent and hypotenuse. So the cosine of 15 degrees is going to equal the adjacent, which is AX, over the hypotenuse, 20 newtons. And I can go ahead and solve for AX by multiplying by 20 newtons on both sides. So multiply 20 newtons on both sides. Ooh, running out of space on that side, 20 newtons. So AX is going to be equal to 20 newtons times the cosine of 15 degrees. And so I'm going to go ahead and type that in on my calculator. I'm going to make sure that my calculator is in degrees, and I get 19.3 newtons. And if you're feeling really comfortable with your vector addition and your trigonometry, you maybe don't need to show this part each time. If you do, feel free to use a scrap piece of paper because there really isn't a ton of extra space on this paper for you to do that. For my y direction, that means I'm going to use the sine of the angle. So it's going to be 20 newtons times the sine of 15 degrees. I go ahead and I type that into my calculator and I get 5.2 newtons. Okay. And again, notice I didn't have to write down this work because I've been doing this for, a long, long time. So it's kind of second nature to me. And I happen to know that if my angle touches the x-axis, the x direction will be cosine and the y direction will be sine, so long as my angle touches the x-axis. So I use that handy trick to make my life a little easier. I'm going to use that trick on this next problem. So here on our next problem, and it's actually all part of the same problem, so that's misleading. Here on the next part, we're going to look at vector B. So we're going to find bx, which you notice is backwards. So that's going to be a negative value, and we're going to find by. And I'm going to use those same tricks that I already know. You can fully write out your trigonometry if you need to, but I know that the hypotenuse, 14 newtons, times the cosine of the angle, 60 degrees, will give me my x direction, and I'm going to add in that I know that that is negative. I'm going to type that in on my calculator, and I get negative 7 newtons. You maybe didn't even need to type it in a calculator because you know your unit circle. So then in my y direction, that will be positive, so I'm not going to change the sign there, and that'll be the sine of 60 degrees, and that will give me 12.1 newtons. And we haven't learned about newtons yet, but it's n. Don't stress too much about it. Whew, okay, so we've done this first step. The first step is to find the x and y components of each vector. Check, you already knew how to do that. The next step in combining vectors together, and actually the reason that we figured out how to do this components thing a few units ago, is that we want to be able to add the forces in each direction. If I wanted to add these graphically, I could, but it would just take me a lot longer, and I would have to be very, very careful with drawing and measuring angles and so on. And you can't be as precise drawing as you can by doing this mathematical calculation. So that's why we're doing this mathematically. So step 2 is going to add the forces in each direction. So we're going to say how far in the x direction did each vector go, and how far in the y direction, and what do they then add up to together. So that means in the x direction, I'm going to start out with that, and that'll be 19.3 and negative 7 newtons. Notice that I'm really highlighting negative 7, so it's 19.3 newtons minus 7 newtons. And that will give me the total in the x direction. I'm going to subtract, and I get cx, or the new vector that we're solving for, and that's 12.3 newtons. And it's positive because 19 is bigger than 7. Okay, then I'm going to do the y direction. Why not? And I'm going to circle those in red. So the y direction will be our 5.2 newtons and our 12.1 newtons. So that will be AY was 5.2 plus 12.1. These both have newtons next to them. And they add up to be 17.3 newtons. So now, these are the components of the resultant vector. That's that answer vector for what is vector A plus vector B, what is their combined total. So we now know the x and the y components of that combined vector. And so I'm going to go ahead and move on to this next step, which is draw in cx and cy tip to tail to see what c looks like. So what this means is that I'm saying, okay, well, I know this is the x component. It's positive 12.3 newtons. So that means positive 12.3. I'll write that down. And then the x component, that's the x component. Then the y component was 17.3, and it's also positive, so that's going to be up, and it's a longer vector. Notice that I'm not getting out a ruler here. I'm not even drawing this on graph paper, but I am trying to convey that like 17 is longer than 12. 17.3 newtons. Aces. So these two vectors together combine to give us our answer vector, and I'm going to put that in gray. What an exciting color. So our answer vector C is right there. It's pointing up and to the right. Yeah, that's to the right. And now I want to report this answer vector. So to do that, I need to know what its magnitude is. What is this length, C, the magnitude, and what angle is it at? So I'm going to report my vector c as some amount of newtons at some angle. Take a moment, kind of think about how you would do that. How would you calculate the magnitude or the length of this side of the triangle? And then how would you figure out what angle this is, considering that this is in fact a right triangle because we have an x and a y and those are perpendicular to each other. You're exactly right. Let's go ahead and use the Pythagorean theorem, which you learned about a long, long time ago, which tells you that the hypotenuse C of a triangle, its square is equal to its two legs of that right triangle, also squared. So that means that if I want to find side C, I can take the square root of a squared plus b squared. So I can use the Pythagorean theorem to find c. So I'll go ahead and do that. That'll be the square root of 12.3 squared plus 17.3 squared. You could add those newtons in there, but I promise it comes out to newtons anyway. And I'm going to type that whole thing as a big number sentence in on my calculator, making sure that I have parentheses in my calculator, which probably if you're using the square root function, it already will, but you just want to make sure that those two numbers are getting added before any square rooting is happening. So I go ahead and I type that into my calculator and I get 21.2 newtons. Excellent. So now we know the magnitude is 21.2 newtons of C. But I want to know more than just the magnitude. I also want to know the angle. And so we could actually find that in a whole variety of ways. But the way that will allow us to find it, no, go away, without having to use C would actually be to use tangent. So I know that the tangent of the angle is going to equal the opposite side, TOA. Look back at where I wrote SOHCAHTOA before. So the opposite side, that'll be 17.3 newtons divided by the adjacent side, 12.3 newtons. And you might go, oh, there was that thing that we learned about in math class for how to do the opposite of tangent. You're exactly right, there was. And it was the inverse function. So we're going to do the tangent inverse, which on your calculator looks like tan to the -1. So really what that means is we're going to say theta, we'll do that to both sides of the equation here, is going to equal the inverse tangent, tan -1 on your calculator, of 17.3 divided by 12.3. And again, making sure I close out my parentheses. And we get an angle of 54.6 degrees. Again, making sure your calculator is in degrees, not radians. Radians are not where you want to be when you're in physics class. Not until, I don't know, your maybe sophomore year of physics class. You might start doing things with radians, but here we're going to stick to degrees. They're a little bit friendlier. So that means that I have my answer, 54.6 degrees. And so I can say that vector C is 21.2 newtons at 54.6 degrees. And notice, oh, that's my timer telling me I should really be done recording this soon. Notice that that's going upwards around from the positive x-axis. Whew, excellent. So folks, do your best to try working on the rest of these problems. If you get stuck, feel free to let me know, and feel free to go back and rewatch this as needed, or look for other vector addition videos, because this process is something lots of physics teachers have lots of really good videos for. Good luck. You got this.